My GF said, I want an open relationship, only on my side. I said, okay, packed her things, changed the locks. She sued but the court ordered her to pay me $7, $4K. I'd been dating Vanessa for 3 years. We moved into my apartment together about a year ago. I owned the place, paid the mortgage myself, but she contributed to utilities and groceries. Everything seemed fine until one random Tuesday night in March. We were watching TV on the couch when she hit pause and turned to me with this serious look. I need to talk to you about something, she said. I figured maybe she wanted to get a cat or something. Instead, she goes, I think we should try an open relationship. I was confused at first, asked her what she meant, thinking maybe she wanted us both to see other people. She shook her head. No, just me, she explained. You're great and I love you, but I need to explore other options before we get too serious. You can stay faithful though, because I know you're not really the dating type. I just sat there, staring at her. She was dead serious. She wanted permission to go hook up with other guys while I stayed home being the loyal boyfriend. She even had this whole speech prepared about how it would make our relationship stronger, how she needed this to feel fulfilled, how if I really loved her, I'd understand. I asked her if she'd already met someone else. She got defensive and said it wasn't about anyone specific. She just wanted the freedom to date around. The freedom, but only for her. I told her I needed time to think about it. She smiled like she'd already won and said, take all the time you need. That night I lay in bed next to her, listening to her scroll through her phone, probably already planning her first date. The next morning, Vanessa left for work at her usual time. I called in sick to my job and got to work. First, I took pictures of everything in the apartment, every piece of furniture, every dish, every item in every room. Then I started going through paperwork. The lease was in my name only because I owned the place before we met. She'd never been added as a tenant or co-owner. I found receipts for the TV, the couch, the dining table, all purchased by me with my credit card before she moved in. She'd bought some decorative stuff and kitchen gadgets, but nothing major. By noon, I had everything documented and photographed. Then I called a locksmith, had all the locks changed by 2 p.m. Cost me $300, but it was worth it. I packed up all of Vanessa's belongings, her clothes, shoes, makeup, everything. Put it all in boxes and suitcases, stacked them neatly by the front door. When she got home from work around 6, her key didn't work. She knocked, confused, and I opened the door. Your stuff's right here, I said, pointing to the boxes. You wanted an open relationship on your side only. I'm giving you the freedom you asked for. Freedom to find a new place to live. She completely lost it. Started screaming about how I couldn't just kick her out, how she lived here too, how this was her home. I stayed calm and told her the apartment was mine, the lease was mine, she was never added as a tenant, and I had every legal right to ask her to leave. She threatened to call the cops. I told her to go ahead. She did, and when the officers showed up, they looked at the paperwork and told her I was right. She had no legal claim to my apartment. Vanessa had to load her boxes into her car and leave that night. She stayed with her friend Brittany and blew up my phone for days, calling me controlling, abusive, saying I ruined her life. 2 weeks later, I got served with papers. She was suing me for illegal eviction and emotional distress, wanted $15,000. I showed up to court with my lawyer and all my documentation, photos proving the apartment was mine before she moved in, bank statements showing I paid the mortgage, text messages where she explicitly said she wanted an open relationship on her side only. The judge was not impressed with Vanessa's case, asked her lawyer why she thought she had any right to stay in an apartment she didn't own after telling the owner she wanted to date other people. Vanessa tried to argue that we were common law married. The judge pointed out that our state doesn't recognize common law marriage, and even if it did, 3 years wasn't enough. Then my lawyer brought up something I hadn't even thought about. When Vanessa moved out, she'd taken my PlayStation and my expensive coffee maker, items I had receipts for proving I bought them before we dated. The judge ordered Vanessa to return my property and pay me $7,400 for court costs, my lawyer fees, and the locksmith charges. She had 30 days to pay or her wages would be garnished. Vanessa stood up in court and started yelling about how this wasn't fair. The judge told her to sit down or be held in contempt. I got my PlayStation and coffee maker back 2 weeks later, still waiting on the money, but I'm not worried. The court order is solid. Last I heard, Vanessa's still living with Brittany and telling everyone I'm the bad guy. Her Instagram stories are full of vague posts about toxic exes and karma, but I'm sleeping great in my apartment with the new locks.